Okay, I think I am live. So I'm going to do this session animating in Procreate Dreams. I just want to make sure that everything is working correctly. So I'm still relatively new to live streaming. This is going to be actually a really good, quick, very short animation demo for those of you who want to learn how to animate. And those of you who just want to watch, it'll be really nice to watch. I still don't think I set this up properly. Back. Okay. All right, looks like I am on here. So now, this is going to be a really cool tutorial, quick demo. I shouldn't say tutorial, but this is a demo of how I use Procreate Dreams. So this is Procreate Dreams right here. These are all the different files, different things that I've animated in the past. And I am going to, this is a file that I animated the other day. So this is a setting, this is a building, and then all the cars roll up. And then this is a car rolling up. It's a close-up of the car, door opens. Now I didn't animate the person's full body. I just animated the head. I could always go back in later. Like I could go in right now and put the body in if I want to. could just come in here and start, let me go back here. So when you tap on the iPad screen and you move it around, you can select whatever color. There's a little plus sign in the middle, and then when I put it over this, it'll select this color. Then I could start drawing with that color. So I could start putting his body in, this person who just got out of the car, if I want. But I just wanted to animate the head, just so I know, you know, what is actually going on with that. So then this is the next shot. This is the next shot after that. Big mean guy. And so what I'm gonna do next, I think I'm just gonna create a totally different, animation. So I'm just start from the beginning. So when you go up here to this little plus sign in the top right corner, there's a plus sign. And if you click on that, then what'll happen is this screen comes up. Then you could just click, you know, draw or empty, and you just start drawing. So these are the different things you can click on. This one here is where you actually start drawing. So I like to start animating by doing a wireframe first. What I do is I'll just do a wire. So this is a wireframe. So if I were to draw someone's face, if I come in here, yeah, there we go. So if I just start drawing somebody's face like this, so I could draw a face like this and then start animating it. But when I go to the next shot, and try to make the eyes move, so the eyes are going to go from there to over here. And I'm going to make them close up a little bit. And then I'm going to raise this eyebrow just a little bit, because this person is kind of like, what's going on? So I have to draw all of this detail over and over in order to make it animate, right? So you see the eyes, you see how the eyes move? So if I come in here and just draw all of that and then zoom in on the eyes, you can see how the eyes move. The problem with that is that I have to draw all of this detail over. I have to draw the eyebrows over again. I have to draw the eyebrows. I have to draw, you know, the eyeballs. I have to draw the, you know, all this stuff. And that takes a long time to keep redrawing and redrawing and redrawing. So what I'm doing is I'm just double tapping the screen and it makes everything erase. So instead of redrawing the whole face, what I can do is I can just start with what's called the wireframe. So this is called the wireframe. And what this is it just tells me what's going on with the figure. The figure's body is here. The figure's body is here. The figure's head is here. And the figure is looking in this direction, right? We can see that because the center of the face, this line is the center of the face. So instead of having to draw the eyes over again. Now watch how fast I can make this figure turn to another position. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'm just going to turn this figure's head just slightly to this direction. Actually, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to turn on what's called onion skin. And what this does is it makes it to where you can see the last frame. I'll show you what I mean. So when I click, so this is the frame, right? But when I move to a new frame to redraw it, I can see everything that I drew in the last frame, so I know where everything was. So now I'm going to turn the head a little bit slightly this way. So now we have a head turn. You see that? Just going to erase this little bit here. And I like doing things simple. I like doing everything that I do. I try to do it as simple as possible, because if you make it too complicated, you're not going to want to do it. So that's why right now I'm just trying to get this head turn in here, right? So I have the head turning so far. It's looking over there. On this one, it's looking that way. It's looking that way. And on this one, it's now looking this way. Now in the next one, I want it looking this way. So go to another frame, and I'm going to draw the center of the head, but I'm going to draw it over here. Nose is now over here. And I'm going to move the neck a little bit, because as we move, when we move our head, our neck naturally moves. So if I go like this, my neck, it's inevitable, but my neck is going to move a little bit. So just do that there. So now I have, so he looks from over there to there to there, right? Now let me finish drawing the rest of this in. And I'm going to have the arm move a little bit on this last one. Now I'm going to turn off the wireframe so you could actually see what I did better. So watch this. So he's kind of like looking over here, and then his arm kind of comes together a little bit. So now I could go back to this first one and add an ear. Then we go to the second one, make the ear, let's see, the ear was right there. I'm gonna make the ear disappear just a tiny little bit. Now I'm gonna make this ear start to appear. This is a bad wireframe here. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. There we go. And the wireframe doesn't have to be perfect, you know? So like when you're doing this part here, you don't, nothing has to look right, you know? So like this area here is a little too fat. If you notice, his head is not that wide at the bottom right here, but then right here, it's kind of sticking out. So that's fine, that's perfectly fine, because we're gonna redraw all over, draw over everything here. So now I'm gonna do another, I'm gonna turn the wireframe, the onion skin back on so I could see. And then I'm gonna have him looking this way. And Gonna get a little chin action. And a little nose coming out. And we probably could have put a little bit of nose on that first one, but it's fine. There we go. So he's turned all the way around. And his arms are completely dropped. And then since his ear was right here on this one, I'm gonna bring that around to about right here. So now I'm gonna turn off the onion skin again, and we're gonna look at the animation. Now that's pretty fast. We've only had this stream on for about, I don't know, a couple minutes. It hasn't been that long, and already we already have some good stuff to look at here. Now, now that I have that, now I'm gonna go create a new track. This is what I was drawing on before. Now I'm gonna create a new track, and I'm gonna start drawing. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna group all of these, and then I can, once I group them, I can turn the opacity down. Opacity is how much you can see something. So I made it really faint. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back over here. Let's do this again. Group. So I have it grouped. Now I'm going to turn the opacity down. And then I'm going to go back up here and draw on my new track. And then I'm going to change the pencil to dark. So I'm going to get a little bit more detailed in this drawing. I'm going to give this dude a hat, maybe like a baseball cap. Give him some eyebrows. And I think I'm going to give him some sunglasses. Now, the reason I'm able to draw this stuff really fast is because, I practice drawing a lot. And that's one good way to be able to animate pretty fast is practicing your drawing a whole lot. So this first frame is going to tell me what the guy looks like. I don't even know. Normally you would have a character that, an idea of what you wanted the character to look like, and you would, be animating from that character. But in this one, I literally just started animating. I didn't have any idea of what the person was going to look like. But normally you would have an idea. You would be animating from some sort of character design, something that you already created, so you already know what the character looks like. So we got sunglasses in here. We got all this stuff. Now what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to make this like that. There we go. So now he has a baseball cap turned backwards, and I'm going to put a little logo on his baseball. Wait a minute, why is it not drawing? Let's see. There we go. Put a little logo on his baseball cap. I don't know what logo that is, but just putting that on there. So now I'm gonna turn on the onion skin, go to the next frame, and I'm gonna turn those glasses over here. So I'm gonna start with his nose first, and I'm gonna just let everything follow the nose. And it is kind of hard to see because I have the onion skin really, I have the opacity on the onion skin up really high. So I just turned it down. Now it's easier to see what I'm doing, because sometimes you could get confused between what you drew in the last frame and the current frame. Okay, and his head turned around quite a bit, so now his bib of his hat has went down somewhat. I think there we go. Cool. Now I'm just gonna copy this sweater, everything here. I'm just gonna copy that. Cool, cool. Okay. So, got that done. Now, I want to add his eyebrows. Obviously, his eyebrows aren't in there, so I need to add that. And I'm also going to add the little logo thing that I put on his hat. It's looking pretty good. I think his chin is a little too pronounced on this one. There we go. That looks good. So we have a head turn here. Now I'm going to go to this. Going to turn this head a little bit more over here. It's a fairly simple character that I'm making here, so I don't necessarily have a whole lot to draw each time I draw a frame. Oh, I see. I think my face was going off the side of the screen. Trying to fix that. Okay. So got all that stuff in there. Now I'm gonna turn off this onion skin. I tend to learn by just watching people. And so I'm hoping that you can learn a lot just by watching the way that I'm doing this. I know I'm not explaining every single thing that I do, but this is my style of learning. Okay. So now I'm going to make him look back a little bit more. I'm going to go duplicate this. And Okay. I think I got this all done. So now check that out. That's pretty cool. Okay. I think I'm gonna raise his eyebrows up on this last frame. So he's kind of looking like, what's going on over there? There we go. I actually really like drawing sunglasses. So trying to make sure these sunglasses look right. Okay. I think his lips could be better. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. I just keep tweaking these sunglasses because, again, I really like sunglasses to look right. I spent years drawing like glasses. Sometimes I would draw shoes, glasses, just any accessory. And I've learned over the years that there's a way to make them look more realistic, but you have to understand the design of the glasses. If you don't understand the design of the glasses, then they'll just look generic. I mean, they'll look like glasses, but they won't look like these. I want them to kind of sort of look like Ray-Bans almost a little bit. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 frames here. One, 2, 3, 4. And then later on, this would get passed over to someone who would do color. And then so let's take a look at what it would look like to add some color here. So if I were to add color, I'm going to create a new track, come in, and going to create some skin tone. So if I just started painting in here like this, I wouldn't be able to see what's going on that track. So what I need to do is I need to add some filters to it. Okay. I don't think I'm going to add the color right now because I'm going to be honest, I haven't done that in a while, adding color. But the way I would go about it is to just, kind of add color in. Yeah, I don't like the color. There is a way to add color. I forgot, so I'm just going to leave it at the animation demo for right now. But I like this. I like the way this is turning out. So now what I could do is add a background. So let's say behind him, there are a couple other people. There's one person here, another person in the background, farther in the background. This person may have a hat on. And then there are some other people in the background. So there's going to be a lot of people in this background. And they're kind of in silhouette because they're in the background. So now what I do is I just stretch this out to last those 4 frames. And then I I split each of the frames. Or instead of stretching it out, I could just duplicate this. That's probably smarter. Duplicate, duplicate, and then duplicate again. Now, when I go to this frame, I'm going to erase out the part that I don't want. So watch what I mean. So I can just take this out of this one. Because his body's going to move, so some more of this background is going to show in each one. And you never know which one, how much is going to show, but depending on how much he moves. And 4. So now we got people in the background, which is cool. So I think I'm going to add more background with some buildings. So I'm gonna add the color of those buildings, probably about something like this. And then add a very light shade to it. And again, I'm going to erase out the background for each frame so that you can see the character through the buildings. So I'm just shading this in very lightly because I don't want it to be too distracting. But I do want it to look like there's something going on in the background. So now I go back over here, stretch this out duplicate this, 1, 2, 3, then come back here, get my eraser tool, and then I erase everything that is in the character. So that's one, right? But now when we go to this one, you'll notice that there's more, the building is still showing. So that's why I have to erase the background from each frame, because what that's going to do is every time his body moves, there's a little bit of the background that shows. And I know a lot of times people say, oh, you can't teach little kids how to do this stuff. Yeah, actually you can. I believe that, young people are a lot smarter and savvier than a lot of teachers give them credit for, a lot of adults give them credit for. And then the last one. Okay, so now we have a cool little scene here. Let's erase that there. Now that looks cool. That looks super cool. So, yeah, frame one. Frame two. Frame three. And frame four. So all this started from doing those wireframes. So that is about it for me. Thanks for watching. Peace.